Welcome. In this video, I will guide you through the BEXL document control spreadsheet, a powerful tool for managing your documents efficiently, especially if you're working towards some sort of certification such as ISO 9001 or some of the Health and Safety Authority certifications, or indeed just food safety HACCP type compliance. So the version of the spreadsheet that we're looking at the moment is completed with false information, just so that we can review and make sense of how it will fit together. You can see that the spreadsheet has 5 different tabs. Here we have a log tab, a summary tab, a settings tab, an instructions tab, and a bonus tab. I'll talk about the bonus later on in this video, but for now, let's just talk about what each of these do. So the log is the main workspace. This is where we keep a record of all the different documents and revisions of those documents that are made in your organization. So then we have those documents, and all the data that's been built up here is then used to create a summary that's useful here, because it does a couple of things. It gives us some checks for those of us that are actually managing the documents. So we can see whether there's documents that have been entered without any status information or without a document type or revision number. So the key information that's needed on any document control system in order for it to function properly. And if you don't if you have one that's incorrect, it's highlighted here with a red X, and it will help you identify where the issue is. We also have the approvals, so a breakdown of who's doing most of the approvals in the organization, and also a general overview of the status of all the documents that are contained in the log, which department they belong to in your business, and what status that the document has at present. And then the settings is actually where you can customize this whole workbook so that it reflects your own business. You can enter your business name here and also set up your own document status. These are only example data that I have here. You can type over this and enter some more down to the bottom of the table. And again, the same thing with the departments. I've included sample departments that are in many businesses and organizations, but you can change these to anything that reflects your work or how you want to use the spreadsheet, and exactly the same with the document types and locations. And finally, we have an instructions sheet here, which has 3 sections for each of the different tabs. Just a reminder of how to use it in case you need to refer back to it at some stage. So when you receive your files, you will receive this one with the sample data in it, as well as a blank one for you to start using yourself. This will help you compare and contrast and make sure that you're happy with the way you've set up your own data. But for now, let's walk through setting it up and what you might do if you were starting off. So you'd start in the settings tab, because this is where you would customize the spreadsheet so that it operated the way you would like to for your business. So let's change the name of the business here. So we're going to change it to BEXL, okay? And we can see that straight away that's pulled through here up to the top of this worksheet. And I'm going to change the location to London. And it's changed it up there again, and you can see that we have the same update has happened at the top here and also in the document log. And just to notice that these tabs here are also active, so we can use these to navigate around the workbook. If you prefer, you can also use these tabs down here that are part of Excel itself. So we've changed this part here. Now here we have the document status. So maybe in our business we don't call it cancelled, we call it deleted. So I can just change that to deleted. I can also enter another status. I'm going to call it on hold. Okay. And my departments are all listed here, but I have noticed that human resources aren't included, and I want to add in human resources because we want to track the compliance documents that we have for our employees. And also, we don't call it dispatch, we call it stores. So I'm going to change it to that. Um, Document types, then procedures, that's fine. Forms, reports, external document, policies, charts and diagrams. These all look okay to me. I don't have anything additional to add, and I'm just going to leave them there. I don't have to use them all, but I'm going to leave them there. And then Dropbox, SharePoint, uh, these are different places where you might store it. So we also use Google. We don't use Dropbox in our business. We use Google Drive, and we use, let's see, the quality office doesn't have any documents in it in our business, and we don't have any in reception, but we do hold some in the operations department, and we do hold some in the lab. So I'm just going to put those in there. And now when I go back to start entering the data, these options that I'm after putting in here, so just let's remember I did human resources and I have the lab and operations department and an on hold status added. So when we go to start updating the log, it will automatically have those options available to us. Okay, so here we are on the log tab, the document log tab, and we can see there's already sample data here, and we want to enter something new. So we're going to just scroll down to the next blank line to input that. So just you can use the scroll bars here on Excel, or if you have a wheel mouse, you can use the wheel on your mouse to get to the next blank line. So this is where we start on the first blank line that we have. In your case, you will receive a blank document. You won't be using all the sample data, but I'm going to continue on with this for now. Okay, so we're going to create a procedure for the operations department for a new system that they've put in place. And the first thing we do is use the drop-down menu to select the document type on the first blank line that we come to. As I said, I'm preserving this sample data. You won't be doing that. You will be starting with a brand new empty table here. So I'm going to pick procedure or SOP. SOP is short for standard operating procedure. And this list here is directly corresponding to the list that we created in the settings tab. So I'm picking that. I'm going to manually input a document number. So this is based on whatever document numbering system that you have. You might have a variety of numbering systems depending on the different types of documents that your business holds. This is Rev 0, revision 0, because it's the first time that we've had this, and therefore there is no old revision number. And the document title in this case is going to be changeover instructions. And we've already said that this is the operations department. Again, you can see the little arrow is indicating that there is a drop down option. And we can see here's human resources, which was one of the options that we inputted ourselves on the instructions tab. So we know this is for the operations department. The entry rationale. So why is this new document being created? So it's because there's new system in place. So instructions for new system. And the date raised. So whatever date you started, and you're starting this entry. The retention period, so again, that varies organization to organization and for different document types. You might have 24 months, but you might have some customers that will insist on 10 years. You might have government legislation, for example, in finance, that will require you to hold documents for 6 years. So many of them are, it's just down to yourselves, a company policy that's set, and I'm going to go with 24 months here in this case. the revision due date. So this is when you might want to go back and review these instructions to make sure that they've been kept up to date. So if no revisions have happened in the meantime. So we're going to put that in as 2 years from today as well. So I'm just going to put in the 12th of the 12th, 2026. And this changeover instruction is going to be held in the operations department, and it's going to be effective whenever the approver approves the document. It's not effective or released or published or distributed until this section happens. So right now, because it's a new, brand new document, it's going to be set as draft. And then once it has been sent to the approver for review and hopefully passes that, its status will be updated again by whoever controls this. It's usually, we call it the document controller, but whoever has ownership of this spreadsheet. So let's say that it has been reviewed and it has been approved by John Smith. I'm just picking somebody's name at random, and we're going to pretend that that happened a few days later. So let's say the 17th, the 12th, 24, and I have to manually type in John Smith's name and change this to approved. And you can see that it automatically goes green when it's approved. That's just to highlight which documents are actually live. You may have lots of entries on this spreadsheet that are not relevant. You may have old revisions of previously used documents. So here we have a couple here. These have been archived. You might have some that are out for review. You might have some that are still in draft format, but you can see here only the ones that are live are green. These are the approved ones. So there's some functionality in the spreadsheet to help you manage it. So if we wanted to see where we are now with this additional document, we want to see it in the summary and how that impacts our charts, we can go over to the summary tab here. Okay, and the summary tab or worksheet has a number of sections, 3 sections altogether here. First is the document validity check. So this is making sure that no entries are created on the log without a status, a type, and a revision number. So the very basics to make sure that you can keep track of what you need to keep track of when you're controlling your documentation. And then we have statistics of who has been approving documents, and also an analysis of the different departments. So here we can see how many documents are live in any one department, and we can see operations is by far the busiest one. We can see how many of them are archived. So out of the 190 in total documents, we have 50 that are archived. We have 54 in draft. So that's a lot of draft documents that need to be dealt with. So we need to probably review what's outstanding for customer service and finance, at least where the most documents outstanding are, and see can we get those actioned. We have one blank that's corresponding to this blank up here, and we can see that's also indicated with the red X to draw our attention to it so we can action that and get a status applied to that document. And we have cancelled and where they are and under review, and this will update, these titles here will update, and the departments with the entries that are input from your setting sheet. So if you have different departments in your business, this will automatically be updated. Now, just a little note here. We do need to, although these will update regularly, we do need to make sure if we've entered new information since we opened the workbook that we use Control Alt and F5 to refresh all the data that's shown here. So that's holding down the Control button, the Alt button, and pressing the F5 button on your keyboard to update the spreadsheet. We also might decide that we just want to see the information for just policy documents or just procedures or just external documents, or whatever is used in your particular organization. And to do that, we just tick procedure, click OK. And we can see that the procedures, there's 46 in total, 11 of those are in archive. So there's 18 live and 16 in draft format. So that they probably need to be urgently actioned. And because the way that this has been set up, if we want to know what this blank health and safety document is here, we can double click it, and the workbook will create, here it is, it's document 11023 revision 1, and this is the one that has a blank status. It has created this little worksheet. It's just a temporary record. We can just use this to find out exactly what's behind that and delete it when we don't need it any longer. It just allows us to identify exactly where in the log the issue is, and now we know it's in 110-23. So let's rectify that now while we're at it. So we return to the log and we want to find 110, and that we could be looking for that. As you can see, these aren't necessarily in any particular order. So to find it, we go to our document number list here and find 11023. Click OK, and here it is. And we can see that there's one version of it here, or one document of it here that has to be changed to approved, and these ones need to be archived. So the old ones need to be changed to archive, and the new version is entered as approved. Okay, so I just used the little drop down arrow here beside document number to do that. That's the filter button. And now when I'm finished with that, to get restore everything in the list, again in view, I just tick select all and OK. Oops, check select all and OK. And everything is back again. And this filter option is here for everything. So for every column that we have. So if I want to see everything that Carly Bannon has approved, I can tick here and see all Carly's work. If I want to check, for example, everything that has been approved in just 2024, I can tick that here and click OK. And here's everything, the documents that have been approved in 2024. Select all. If I want to see all the policy documents, I can just filter on the policy documents. And for all of these, I can see if a filter has been applied, if I can see the little funnel logo here beside the drop down. And just if I want to see it all, I can either do clear that or select all and click OK and have it all restored. So now we go back to the summary, and as you can see, this is automatically updated, but we still are showing the blank here. And in order to rectify that, we just do the procedure here of Control Alt and F5, and that updates it. Now there's no blank documents. So we have all of that flexibility within our system here. Again, I'm showing only procedures, so if I want to show everything, I click OK. I don't want to see the blanks, so I click OK there. And here's everything back again, except for I don't have a blank column because there are no blanks. Great. So I hope you can see that this is a highly adaptable, simple workbook that you can use to keep track of your documents and make sure that your system is up to date all the time. We also have the facility to add in extra columns or add in extra rows into the workbook. So to do that, we go down to the very end, and if you want to add in extra rows, but there are about 10,000, so that's not likely. You just use this little blue arrow that appears and you can add extra rows or extra columns and just give it another name there if that's something that you think might be useful to you. And then last but not least, included in the workbook, along with the log that we've gone through in detail, and the summary with the report sections and the settings, We have an instruction sheet here that will remind you of everything that I've just gone through and what the various fields are intended for. But last but not least, we also have here in the bonus tab a draft or an example standard operating procedure for document control. So if document control is something that your business needs to implement, we have the text here for you. And all you need to do is copy and paste that out into a separate document. Sorry, wasn't. So you just copy and paste it, select it, and then copy and paste it into another Word document or Google Docs or whatever system you prefer to use, and paste it in and amend it for your own. It's for your own use. It's been set up to basically follow the procedures in this workbook, so hopefully you won't have too many amendments to make in order for it to be useful to you. And I hope that this video has been useful, and I hope that you enjoy using this workbook. And do come back to see the other workbooks that we have available.